Alright, here's my little unboxing from CBI. Just ordered my Tacoma ditch brackets, so it comes with a free shirt. I have my Dremel here. Some hardware. Actually very nicely packed. Got a sticker here. And little business cards. Here's the lights I'm going to be putting in. And here's the brackets. So let's go to the truck and see how they fit. Alright, so I got the cowling off. I took the wipers off and everything. It was a little bit tricky, but the cowling was easy to take off. The wipers were a little bit tricky. But once you get it, it's just be very gentle, don't force anything. I was reading the instructions here, and it says here that you're supposed to put this corner piece right here on this first hinge bolt, right there. And then it says to use this hole and this hole for the rest of the two. But if you notice, it doesn't actually line up. So I think what they want us to do is mount it like this and utilize those two holes there. That makes sense, because that's the only way it'll reach. Otherwise I'll have to drill a hole, and I guess I could. Not really a big deal. Alright, two things. I didn't really plan on this being an instructional video, but I don't know, I'm just making a video. Anyways, I would highly recommend that you put something down on your paint so that you can work here and lean on this so you don't scratch it up, as I have some scratches there. So I put saran wrap over it because my car's dirty and my towels are very scratchy. So anyways, now you don't have to, but I would highly recommend that you have a ratcheting wrench. Makes your life a whole lot easier. I don't have one, so it was a bit of foul-mouthed cursing and everything, but lo and behold, we got it in. First bolt's right there, and the two, like I said, two bolts go here and here. So the instructions are a little off, but you can figure it out. Not too hard. All right, I ran into a little problem here. Certainly nothing that's a deal breaker, but I don't know if you can see, kind of a shit angle. Right there, you see that clearance? How it's not perfectly lined up? And down here, it's even worse. It's lined up, but the problem is the bolts that they supply don't fit in their steel. They didn't bore it out enough. So that's a quality control issue that I hope that CBI addresses, because I know you guys have a lot of orders and all that kind of shit, but it's, come on, I shouldn't have to do this shit. So I trimmed the cowling. That was the biggest pain in the ass for me, because the whole reason I'm asking for a video from CBI is to know exactly, and I mean exactly, how much to take off. So I took off just as much as I needed to, and took a lot longer than it should have, but about an hour later it's done. These are in, cowling's back in, this side's in, and that's what this side looks like. I routed this window washer fluid cable. It's just loose. there's a little clip that pops in here, but you have to remove it, and I just left it free hanging. As long as it doesn't get pinched, I think it should be fine. But these, the instructions say that you're not going to need these later. Well, I used them because now it's more secure. So you can. I don't know why they said not to, but all I have to do is put the, here we go. Put the windshield wipers back on, and then I'm good. Put my lights on. They're finally in. I'm very happy with how they're a little offset, so they're angled, you know, they're not blocking your field of view basically. They're on their, they're next to the pillar. I like that a lot. So I went ahead and put in these KC highlights, Apollos. They're okay. They're driving lights, so they're not super spotty or anything, but we'll see how they are at night. That's what I'm more concerned about. But it's looking pretty good. You can see it's offset. I like that a lot on the pillar. That's why I went with these. All right, there's a problem. Here's the problem. I'm gonna show you the other side because it's easier to see. All right. I don't know why exactly, but the fucking hood is raised. Now I checked everything in the down under here. Everything's flush. The only thing that I could suspect that does that, this is right about eye level right here. This is a brand new truck. This bugs the shit out of me, but you know, what am I gonna do? It's like, do I want these or not, you know? After all that work, I have to keep them and hope that that doesn't cause any long-term damage. But there is a significant gap here, and it's a bit unsettling. This side's not too bad. It starts off great over here, and then once you get to the end, it raises up just a tad. Just a tad. Not as much as the other side. Now, pop the hood. And you can actually feel it just a little bit right when you get to about right there, so it gets kind of stiff. Now, looking at everything, my wires are behind here. That's out of the way, it doesn't catch. The only thing I could suspect is it's gonna be hard to tell on camera, but right around here, it's not flush against the bottom piece here. And the reason for that is there's a little weld right there that goes up, and I think that's why this whole piece is up. I tightened this down and torqued it down to the best of my ability without stripping anything, but I think the problem is the way that these brackets were made, it sits a little bit higher, and that's why your hood is having difficulty closing. That's my experience. I hope that everyone else doesn't have that experience, but if they do, you've been warned. It's kind of like, see, this one does it a little bit too. It's a sacrifice, and hopefully there is no long-term damage. I guess we'll see. I think they look pretty good. You know, I'm happy with it, except for the hood. That's really my only complaint. Other than that, you know, it's worth it. You just got to do a little bit of modification. It's not as easy as they make it seem. You gotta, you know, if their holes aren't bored right, you gotta make sure that you bore them for their hardware. But other than that, not too bad at all.